Hey footy fans, welcome to Footy Fin, and I want to preview tonight's game between the touring British and Irish Lions and the Queensland Reds happening here in Brisbane at Lang Park, aka Suncorp Stadium. Now, by local Queensland standards, it's a pretty frosty day here in Brisbane. Forecast minimum tonight about 10 degrees. It's actually extremely windy as well. Now, in Suncorp Stadium, there's somewhat protection from that wind provided by the stadium, but I dare say there'll be some swirling breezes in there, playing a bit of havoc with bombs or Gary Owen kicks and maybe kicks at goal and other kicks and what have you. Anyway, so interesting times. I want to mostly focus on the Queensland Reds squad here. I will cover a few points around the Lions squad, but what I am seeing is that a hell of a lot of YouTubers who are following the Lions and are from, mostly England, but Britain are focusing game by game heavily on Lions squads and really kind of ignoring the opposition. There is one exception to that, and that's Squidge Rugby, or more specifically the More Squidge Rugby channel. The two lads give a good overview of the Reds and some history, the last encounter between the Reds and the Lions 12 years ago, and some in-depth analysis of Reds players. And also 2 Cents Rugby in New Zealand has given a good summary of the Reds from the perspective of a follower of Super Rugby Pacific across the ditch in New Zealand. Anyway, so the Reds are missing 6 of their best players, 6 Wallabies, numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, critical positions, as well as Felipe Daunguno and one other whose identity escapes me right at the moment. But Fraser McWright, Wallabies captain Harry Wilson, former Wallabies vice-captain Tate McDermott at scrum half, and Tom Liner at fly half are all missing tonight. So for the Reds, up front in the front row, we've got Aidan Ross, Matt Fassler, Jeffrey Tumunga Allen. I will say that there are some recent or former Wallabies in this Reds team. Second row or locks, Josh Canham, Lucan Salakaya Loto. Loose forwards, Sarah Uru, John Bryant and Joe Bryle. In the halves, Kalani Thomas and Harry McLaughlin Phillips. Tim Ryan and Lockie Anderson on the wings. In the centres, Hunter Paisami and Josh Fluke. Josh Campbell at fullback. On the bench, Nasser, Blake, Fa'angiasi, Smith, Blythe, Vest, Wirchin and Henry. As I say, a number of recent or former Wallabies there. They would include the centre pairing of Paisami and Fluke, Jock Campbell at fullback, Sarah Uru and Lucan Salakaya Lotto in the forwards, Matt Fassler at hooker, and others like Josh Nasser and possibly McLaughlin Phillips or Lockie Anderson have made little cameo appearances for the Wallabies. A couple of interesting points in relation to the Lions. They are playing Finn Russell again. He's backing up after playing against a force in Perth the other night. I think that's chiefly because they want to pair him up in the halves with Jamison Gibson-Park and see how that combination goes, as well as see how he combines with Bundy Aki at 12. So that's a bit of an interesting one. Otherwise, it's largely a changed squad compared to the previous Saturday night. So Lions captain Maro Itoje returns. Duhan van der Merwe, the South African Flyers in there. There are a few former Tri-Nations players in the back line, and also Finlay Bealham, reserve prop, which is interesting. How's this going to pan out? Now, last time the two teams met in 2013, the Reds actually gave the Lions a good challenge, and I think it was only 22-12 or something like that was the final thing. But here, let's just come back to reality and look at some of the facts. In the Lions, we've got the best players from Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. the cream of the crop there. And this is probably reasonably quite close to what might be the first test team, because it seems that on this tour, the midweek team, that being the team turning out tonight, is going to be closer to the test team. But we'll wait and see. But we have the best players from those Four Nations teams up against the Queensland Reds, who are a Super Rugby Pacific team. They did finish 6th in Super Rugby Pacific this season. I forget the last time they finished in the top 4 of Super Rugby Pacific, but it's probably at least a decade. They haven't played for about 3.5 weeks since they were defeated by the Crusaders in a playoff match, and they're missing 6 of their best players. So given this, what would you expect? You'd obviously expect a pretty comfortable Lions win. Really, you might reasonably say this is just another opposed training run for the Lions, a chance to work on things like their line-out calls, test out some combinations in the halves, etc. Anyway, should be an interesting time. About 50,000 expected at Suncorp Stadium, which is good for a cold, chilly, midwinter Wednesday night match. So should be a great atmosphere. But anyway, let's hope for a good fixture and not a one-sided one. But yeah, right for now, I've got a rolling maul to go and join. So catch you around. Enjoy the football. See ya.